That's fair enough. And while we're on Bellingcat, there's increasing numbers of people asking where their office is. I'm not suggesting anything remotely threatening to them, but just out of interest, they're often touted as being Hague-based because that sounds good because of the international cachet. The only registered office I can find for them is the rather swanky Herengracht in Amsterdam, which is very expensive to rent property on, but I can't see a Hague property. But in any case, they've come over to the Netherlands, having started in Britain, and they get away with these hit pieces on people. And the name I forgot a moment ago is Gonzalo Lira.
Yes, indeed. And just the last two to mention on the Ukrainian hit list website here, we've got Tucker Carlson, of course, and of course Eva Bartlett there at the end. So that list continues to grow. But
can I just interject there, Mike? I think a little while ago, Earl Grey did an interview with Eva Bartlett that was particularly good.
Yes, she's doing spectacular work. But Alex, an article from the German press, well, in fact, a German equivalent to the UK column, perhaps we might describe them.
I would say that's fair. Nachdenkseiten, which is plural actually, it means website or pages that make you think, and their strapline is the critical website. They haven't put a foot wrong, which is quite a feat in the German new media. They haven't had any scandals over misreporting, and perhaps it's because of that they were trusted by a German civil servant with the leak that follows. The article's by Florian Warweg, who's pictured there. The title is How the German Federal Government is Working on Gleichschaltung of the Narrative. That's the Third Reich era term for making everyone sing from the same hymn sheet by means fair and foul behind the scenes with regard to the Ukraine war. So this has been going around for a week. A lot of German platforms have picked up on it. And you can, I think on the following slide, have got a snapshot of something that went live just before the news went out. We were able to coordinate well. This is part one because Warweg himself says there's going to be a part two cover-up, part one follow-up, I beg your pardon, of the cover-up. Part one here focuses on the German power ministries. Obviously, and unsurprisingly, the German Interior Ministry coordinates the effort on the narrative. There's lots of screenshots from the original with key passages highlighted in red. There's mention of using 6 to 14-year-olds as child reporters to make sure that children are resilient. Where have we heard that phrase before? Resilient to disinformation and have the right kind of media literacy. The German Foreign Office, to the shock of both the leaker and the journalist Warweg, is openly using outsourced training courses coming from the USA and from London and from German mega corporations and their charitable agencies, the Stiftungen, using them to train people in what to do. And towards the bottom, the leaker says we're even stooping to getting these children on board, and my conscience can't take it anymore. There should be far more such people, including at the British Foreign Office and agencies, asking their colleagues, even if they don't resign or leak, what on earth justifies this, rather than meekly accepting it in the way that they do. It is a big shock to the Germans that Deutsche Welle, the equivalent of the BBC World Service or Voice of America, which is tax funded and has a statutory duty to be independent, it has a dedicated act that set it up that said so, is involved in coordinating with the Foreign Office in just the same way that the British Foreign Office coordinates with media as well, as we've reported, on how to present Russia as the only and inevitable source of all narratives in the world that don't align with NATO or the Ukraine. That is the bottom line of it there, that Russia is the go-to agency for anything that you don't like in the world. And it is quite spectacular, and I don't know whether the Germans will put up with it. Just to follow up to something reported recently on Die Weltwoche, a Swiss title, the owner there, who's pictured on screen, has produced a very good monologue on the current state of affairs in the world for our German speakers, which a viewer was keen for us to recommend, so that all the German speakers who can follow this 40 minutes listen to this tour de force on Zelensky demanding that, again, the nuclear umbrella be put up against him so that he can carry on and his government doing whatever he wants, which, of course, Die Weltwoche finds to be nonsense.
Okay, I think that takes us.
Us to some ads. Yes. So if you'd like to if you'd like to support the UK column, please head over to community.ukcolumn.org. There are options to help us out there. You can pick something up at the UK column shop, but please do share any material that you find on the various platforms. Quick reminder once again of the Free Assange Human Chain taking place on this coming Saturday on the 8th, starting at 1 p.m. Now, unfortunately, I believe the trains are not going to be running this weekend, but nonetheless, I think people should make as much effort as possible to get there.
I'll just add that it's clear that some people are worried that if they go to an event like this, they're going to have their facial features scanned by CCTV cameras, and this could put them at risk. Well, of course, this is happening. It's happening not just in London and around Westminster, it's happening in major cities across UK. So it's up to the individual to make a decision about whether showing your views publicly is going to place you at risk. But of course, if we give in to that, it's almost sit at home and wait till all the doors close. So our faces are fully visible via the UK column news broadcasts, and we're going to keep doing that. But we know that some people are feeling a little bit nervous. We would say stand up and be counted.
That takes us to...
Well, it takes us to another smaller gathering, which is in Truro on Lemon Quay, and that's Saturday, the 8th of October at 12 noon. Debbie, would you like to tell us a little bit more about this one?
Yeah, I'd be delighted to. I'm going along, so if anybody fancies to come up and have a chat, I'm very friendly. We'd love to see you there. But this is a Keep It Cash protest. So we've got Debbie Hicks, Piers Corbyn, Sandy Adams, who I know that a UK column have spoken to. Also, they're all going to be there in Truro at 12 o'clock on Lemon Quay. So it would be fantastic to see as many of you as possible. And I do realise, yes, there is a train strike, but buses are still working, so all welcome.
And the weather forecast is good, I believe.
Yep, perfect. Absolutely perfect for a change.
Okay, Alex.
Richard D.